Hey there, and welcome to Grave Echoes TV. Tonight, we invite you to settle into the silence as we peel back the veil between nightmares and reality. What you're about to hear is a chilling story, inspired by a real-life crime. The names have been changed, but the fear remains the same. This tale is not for the faint of heart. Title: The Cold Apartment. Inspired by true events in Detroit, Michigan, 1997. The apartment was cheap. That's all that mattered to Mara Collins. A struggling graphic designer in her late 20s, Mara had recently broken up with her boyfriend, lost her job, and drained the last of her savings into paying off her student debt. The apartment in Detroit's older district wasn't just affordable, it was a miracle. It's been vacant for a while, the landlord had told her, scratching his beard. People come and go. You're not superstitious, are you? Mara laughed. No, she said, just broke. The building was a relic from the 1940s. It smelled like mildew and distant rot. The hallway lights flickered constantly, and her unit, 3C, had a window that didn't fully shut. But she didn't care. It was hers. Quiet, remote, and affordable. Or at least it was quiet for the first few nights. On the fifth night, Mara was jolted awake by a sound she couldn't immediately place. A dragging noise, like something heavy being pulled across the wooden floor above her. She sat up, blinking. She remembered that her unit was the top floor. There was nothing above her. No storage space, no fourth floor, just roof. The next morning, she asked the neighbor across the hall, an elderly woman named Mrs. Hallbrook. "Oh, honey," she whispered. "You hear it too?" Mara blinked. "What do you mean to?" Mrs. Hallbrook leaned in close. Her breath smelled like peppermint and cigarettes. "The last girl, the one before you. She complained about the same thing. Said someone was dragging furniture above her at night. She left after a month." She paused. "They never found her." Mara tried to laugh it off. Coincidence. Urban legends. Old buildings made weird noises, right? But that night, the dragging came again. Louder, closer, and this time, she heard something else. A voice, low, male whispering, but the words were muffled, unintelligible. She turned on every light in the apartment. Nothing. Checked the hallway. Empty. Then she opened the hall closet. Inside was a crawl space. Small, barely noticeable behind a sliding panel. She didn't remember seeing it before, but curiosity got the better of her. She pulled it open. Inside were photos. Dozens of them. Old, yellowed, curled at the edges. Each one showed a different woman, sitting, smiling, but their eyes looked terrified. At the bottom of the pile was a picture of her, taken from outside her window. She was sleeping. Mara stumbled backward, dropped the photos. Her heart pounded in her chest. She ran downstairs, dialed the police from a nearby payphone. When they arrived, they searched the apartment, then the building. What they found was horrifying. A hidden attic entrance above Unit 3C. A man had been living there for months, maybe longer. He had a mattress, a radio, food wrappers, and a camera. They caught him 2 days later. Dennis Rowe, a janitor who used to work for the building. He had a master key. No one knows how many women he watched, how many he followed, only that he never intended to be seen. Mara moved out the next day. But stories like Mara's don't end when the criminal is caught. Sometimes they live on in the echo of every creak, in the shadows beneath closet doors, and in your ears as you lie awake at night, wondering if the sound you just heard is real. Title: The Boy in the Storm Drain. Inspired by a forgotten police file from Portland, Oregon, 1984. Hey there, and welcome back to Grave Echoes TV. Tonight, we're heading down into the dark, where childhood curiosity met something far worse than monsters under the bed. This is a story about a boy who went looking for answers and found something no one was meant to see. Ethan Rayner was 12 the summer his brother disappeared. Caleb had just turned 16. One morning, he left on his bike and never came back. His bike was found a week later, propped neatly against a tree in the woods, like someone had placed it there on purpose. No blood, no clothes, no sign of a struggle. The town whispered about it. People blamed runaways, drifters, even wild animals. But Ethan knew better. Caleb had been scared before he vanished. It started a month before that. Caleb kept waking up in the middle of the night, panic, pale, sweating. He said someone was knocking on the basement wall. Like, from the inside, he whispered one night. Like someone's in there. Their parents thought he was dreaming. Maybe he was, until he wasn't. After Caleb vanished, Ethan started watching. Listening. He sat by the basement stairs at night, holding a flashlight. Hoping, dreading. And one night, he heard it. Talp, talp. Not loud, not frantic. Just slow, deliberate. Like fingernails against concrete. He tried to tell his parents. They told him it was grief. But he couldn't let it go. Ethan started digging into the neighborhood's history, talking to old folks, visiting the library after school. He learned the house had been built in 1922 on top of an old water treatment site. And beneath the house, there was still a network of tunnels, drains and runoff paths that led deep into the woods. Most of them sealed, some forgotten. So one afternoon, Ethan went looking. It was late summer, the air thick with heat and gnats. He found an old iron grate behind the trees, half covered in moss and rusted vines. A storm drain. It looked small, barely big enough for a kid, but something about it felt wrong, like it was waiting. Still, he crawled in, holding a flashlight and his brother's old compass. The tunnel smelled of wet dirt, iron, and something else. Decay. He crawled for what felt like hours. Then the tunnel widened, and he found a room. Not a room, really, just a hollowed-out chamber, lined with bricks and bones. Skulls, clothes, shoes, dozens of them. Kids, teenagers, all long gone. And in the center was a mattress. On it sat a man, thin, silent, unblinking. His face was pale, his eyes wide. He looked like he hadn't moved in years. But he smiled, and that smile was not human. Ethan screamed, but no sound came out. He turned, scrambled back, scraping his hands, dropping the flashlight, crawled through wet leaves and narrow tunnels, sobbing until he saw daylight. When he got home, his parents called the police. They searched the drain, sealed it up, found evidence, bones, remains. But no man. No one ever found him. Ethan swore he saw something in the man's eyes. Something that wasn't right. Not insane. Not human. Something older. Hungrier. He still dreams of the tunnel sometimes. And he still hears the tapping. Only now, it's coming from beneath his bed. Real crimes leave behind real victims. But sometimes they leave behind shadows, too. Things that reach past reason. Past the line between this world and whatever came before it. Thanks again for spending your night with Grave Echoes TV. We'll see you next time, if you make it to morning.